matter of utmost importance and to take all necessary actions to ensure Nigeria Ajib Oil Company stops what it described as environmental terrorism. The Edo North Senator Adams Oshomole has condemned the 30,000 naira minimum wage offered by the federal government and has advocated for 60,000 to be paid to cleaners. Oshomole described the current minimum wage as criminal wage and not enough for workers. According to Oshomole, what we call minimum wage is a criminal wage. Mostly in Edo State, where the governor and senator representing Edo North, Adams Oshomole, the former governor and the senator representing Edo North, Adams Oshomole, has accused former lawmakers in the Ninth Assembly of vandalization of the properties of the National Assembly. Oshomole disclosed that in spite of the presence of security men and women, television representative members, he also said the former lawmakers left their offices in shambles with holes on the walls, saying he had to pay to fix his office before using it. The former national chairman of the All Progressive Congress stressed that the vandal agenda, adding that the rural development component of the agenda would make more meaning if the local government councils are fully incorporated. The group, which expressed disappointment over the level of infrastructural decay in the council areas due to poor funding and diversion of council funds, called on the state governor to embark on a tour of the 31 local government councils in order to have first-hand information about the level of underdevelopment at the local government areas. The governorship candidate of the Action Democratic Party, Dr. Kachi Mwoga, has opposition political parties in the state for not having gubernatorial advert permit, adding that the Imo State government had, through Imo Signage and Advertisement Agency, imposed the sum of 54 million naira on opposition parties and as parties as advertising and signage displays for governorship campaigns. The general manager of the agency, Honorable Chibuzo Omunakwe, notified various political parties participating in the forthcoming governorship election in the state in a letter dated June 7, 2023. However, in another notice sent to the opposition political parties, the agency said the permit is not transferable while it expires 30 days after election. The People's Democratic Party candidate in the forthcoming governorship election in Imo State, Senator Samuel Nnemeka Anyanwu, has declared that November 11, 2023 will mark the end of the lingering insecurity, hardship, and deceit in the state when the party takes over the affairs of the state. He said no amount of intimidation, thuggery, or killings will foil his victory. Anyanwu, who disclosed this at the weekend at Oguta and Oru West local government areas during his thank you tour, said since the All Progressive Congress candidate who opposed him had failed to restore peace and stop the fear in the state, he also said the people of the state had been unduly treated, starved, humiliated, harassed, and intimidated by the APC government, maintaining that due to God's love for the state, November 11 has been set aside as the right season to liberate the state. Anyanwu further said it would be a wrong idea for any Imo citizen to allow himself or herself to be felt left behind in the project of securing Imo State from the stranglehold of anguish and penury occasioned by insecurity, adding that no individual, no matter how highly placed, would ever subvert the mandate of the people. Anyanwu did regretted that the APC-led administration has lost direction in leadership and as well does not possess the needed strategy to curb the menace that has thrown Imo State into comatose. Popular Anambra State-based native doctor and indigene of Idemili North local government area of the state has been kidnapped. The native doctor, who is popularly known as Akwa Okoko Tiwaraki, was said to have been kidnapped from his hotel in Oba community last night. This is coming after claims that the man, who is regarded to be among the strongest witch doctors in Anambra, was kidnapped with so much ease in his get better in the country, especially in the university system. The Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Sunday alum who opened the symposium said the school is using the human resources at its disposal to ensure the progress of the society. Who said in order to overcome the problems, the industry must lessen its negative effects on the environment, society, culture, health, and human development as well. Public Relations Officer Mrs. Fumilayo Odunlami confirmed the incident and described the victims as few scoopers. The Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak has approved a multi-billion naira palliative package to cushion the effect of recent removal of fuel subsidy. The new palliatives are rolled out the office, which is located at John Holt Road beside Hapso Petroleum Limited, Lokoja, was set on fire while residents were able to put off the inferno, which destroyed valuables, including important documents. This is coming after the armed thugs set ablaze vehicles parked inside the secretariat before attacking security men stationed at the premises. SDP Deputy Governorship candidate Sam Ranti Abenimi also accused members of the ruling All Progressive Congress of being responsible, adding that one of the state governor's senior special advisors spearheaded the burning of the campaign office. Nasarawa State House of Assembly has named 8 principal officers. The Speaker of the House, Ibrahim Abdullahi, who disclosed this at the plenary in Lafia, said the principal officers of the 7th Assembly were picked after due consultations with all the relevant stakeholders in the state. While calling on the principal officers to faithfully discharge their duties, the Speaker urged them to continue to give maximum support to Governor Abdullahi Saleh to enable him deliver the dividends of democracy to all residents of the state. The Apex Sociocultural Group of Igede Nation of Benue State, also known as Omiyi Igede Development Association, has distanced itself from the call for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. The Apex Sociocultural Group disclosed this in a statement issued and signed by Dr. Ben Okpa and Evangelist Samuel Oko, President General, with relevant stakeholders in the state to evolve measures to mitigate the danger posed by flooding. Well, in his remarks, the paramount ruler of the Tiv Nation, Osifigi James Ayatse, restated his call on the federal government to fulfill its promise to dredge River Benue to put an end to the perennial challenge of flooding that has continued to wreak havoc on the state during rainy season, adding that the only solution to the end of the menace is by dredging the river and construction of drainages for free flow of water. The monarch also commended by the Great Party before the Benue State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal sitting in Makurdi. The All Progressive Congress governorship candidate in the last election in Anambra State, Senator Aishatu, in Adamawa State, I beg your pardon, Senator Aishatu Dahiru has urged the Federal High Court in Abuja to allow the Election Petition Tribunal sitting in the state to deliver its judgment before the suspended resident electoral commissioner Hudu Ari is prosecuted. Dahiru, also known as Binani, made the plea before Justice Donatu Sokorowo through her counsel, Chiesonu Okpoko, while adopting the processes filed in respect of her suit. Binani had in a suit sued the Independent National Electoral Commissioner, Inspector General of Police, and the sudden exit of Senator Abdullahi Adamu and Senator Iyola Omisore as the party's national chairman and national secretary, respectively. Ganduje from the Northwest Zone has been visiting prominent members of the party to solicit support for his ambition, but the North Central Zone is opposed to his clinching the coveted position, and Ganduje was said to have secured the backing of President Bola Tinubu and then the Progressive Governors Forum. This is coming after Progressive Governors Forum, an umbrella body of the governors elected on the APC platform, which met in Abuja, has reportedly agreed to back Ganduje as Adamu's successor. However, the national vice chairman for APC Northwest, Malam Salihu Lukman, has thrown its weight behind the clamor by the North Central to retain the national chairmanship position and appeal
of extra 15 days of free viewing. You can enjoy our top local and international content. So, what are you waiting for? Quickly, visit any StarTimes outlet around you to recharge or buy your decoder between June 12th to August 31st to enjoy this fabulous offer. Wow! Yay! Let the celebration begin! StarTimes, entertain your family.
Welcome back to the Global News, everyone. Now, here is the rest of our stories. The Inter-Party Advisory Council has urged the Presidency and the Independent National Electoral Commission to consider the 2023 election. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, revealed this at a meeting with civil society organizations on the review of the 2023 general election. Yakubu gave the clarification to address impressions that the Commission received huge sums of money from development partners for the election, adding that the Commission only received cash support from the federal government. He explained that the support came in the form of technical advice, civic and voter education, organizations of meetings and capacity building workshop, as well as publication of documents. The Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council has accused President Bola Tinubu of asking the Presidential Election Petition Court to disqualify its candidate Peter Obi ahead of a possible rerun. According to a statement signed by the head media Obidati Campaign Council, Diran Onifade, said the All Progressive Congress has become desperate and lined up measures to undermine his public image. The Obidati campaign office therefore called on the public to watch out for members of the Islamic movement in 2015 would continue to haunt the nation and hang over its skies until justice is done. Sani also said the killing of the 103 SAS protesters in Lagos was one of the hidden that members of the Islamic movement were massacred in Zaria on the orders of the military and was publicly supported by the former government. It is not a happy. A total of 529 foreign trained medical and dental graduates failed the assessment examination. The two assessment examination was conducted at the University of College Hospital Ibadan in Oyo State, while 704 medical and 30 dental foreign trained graduates participated in the assessment of examination. The council also said only 189 dental graduates passed the examination, while 515 medical graduates and 14 dental graduates failed the examination. The MDCN says it regulates the practice of medicine, dentistry, and alternative medicine in the country to safeguard the nation's healthcare system, adding that the MDCN assessment examination is compulsory for program. In his address at the program, Chief Obasanjo said over the last 63 years, Nigerians have not lived up to expectations, but has suffered self-emotion, selfishness, and self-centeredness, ethnic and religious jingoism with total knowledge in an gross misunderstanding of what development entails and how to move fast and continuously on the trajectory of development. The former president further identified two of the major issues that were interrelated in terms of factors for all-round development. Has upheld the removal of Dr. Bunu Alibe and Mr. Ayo Olojede as directors of indigenous oil firm Green Energy International Limited in a unanimous judgment delivered a three-member panel of the appellate court set aside an earlier judgment delivered on September 23rd, 2022 by Justice Bolaji Olajuwon of the Federal High Court, Abuja, which had, among others, reversed the removal of the directors. The appeal court faulted Justice Olajuwon's decision that particularly the Companies and Allied Matters Act. It further held that from the evidence before the trial court, Green Energy complied with the necessary requirement for the issuance of the notice for the AGM, noting that the notice in the instant case was issued and received on the merit of 22nd October 2020, which constitutes 21 clear days notice for the meeting held on November 12, 2020. You're still watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll bring you more stories now. Less than 5 days to the end of the 60-day constitutional window in the appointment of federal cabinet members, the Senate is expected to receive the list of the president's ministerial nominees this week. The president's senior special assistant on media and publicity, Tokwe Ajayi, said the minister's list will be out this week. Let's wait till the names are out. The 1999 Constitution stipulates that the president and governors must submit the names of persons nominated as ministers of office for confirmation by the Senate or the respective state houses of assembly. Tinubu, who was sworn in as president on May 29th, has to
the long awaited list. But one thing is that he may be trying to protect his political ambition tomorrow. But mind you, APC is still a political party. Now, it will be so also difficult that by now we are still expecting the list, like you've said. Why? I do know that before now, even before the election was done, they have had their own list of who becomes a minister, and who even maybe chairman of board, chairman of this, and members of board, members of parastatals of all kinds. But because of the
Chief Honorable Tajuddin Abbas has urged the members of the National Association of Resident Doctors to shelve their planned industrial action and allow the House to mediate in matters at stake. The Speaker, who made the request at the meeting with the leadership of the medical doctors in Abuja, in addition, urged them to be realistic in their demands. This is coming after the resident doctors embarked on warning strike before the inauguration of the current administration, while demanding a 200% increase in their salaries and other associated allowances. They also want the payment of all salary arrears, implementation of the economy's salary structure and new hazard allowance and domestication of the Medical Residency Training Act and payment of medical residency training fund to its members in state tertiary health facilities, among others. After suspending the strike, the doctors issued a fresh 2-week ultimatum for the government to meet its demands. However, Speaker Abbas said the decision of the leadership of the doctors to meet with the House is an affirmation of their faith and confidence in the capacity of the House to intervene and resolve the lingering issues and disputes. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas, said the House will not hesitate to consult with critical stakeholders in developing the agenda to get their input. Abbas said the House would not hesitate to consult with critical stakeholders in developing the agenda and input to get their input, and engagement is the fulcrum of representative democracy. The Speaker said the House paid priority attention to the participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance, as well as improved socio-economic conditions, entrepreneurship, employment, health and education infrastructure, and citizens-focused diplomacy, adding that the House would also target institutional capacity. Found guilty of price fixing will pay a fine of up to 10 million naira or 3 months prison sentence. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission disclosed this in a statement by its Executive Vice Chairman, Babatunde Irukera. This is coming after POS agents under the aegis of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents increased their service charge for withdrawals and deposits, while the Federal Commission entered an order and notice served to the executives of the mobile agents prohibiting POS agents from further implementing the price increment, warning that the disobedience would be met with severe punishment. It also explained that violating it order would attract 1 million naira fine for individual POS agents and 10 million naira for corporate agents, or a 3 months prison sentence. The House of Representatives vows to recover the sum of over $1 billion in gas flaring fines imposed by the federal government on erring local and foreign companies operating in the oil and gas companies industry. Chairman ad hoc committee investigating gas flaring, Honorable Ahmed Muni, gave the assurance in Abuja during the post-investigative hearing briefing, which was attended by various stakeholders drawn from the Federal Ministry of Environment, Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, National, that smuggling and diversion of products to neighboring communities would continue if the deregulation was not allowed to take its course. The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria says it has suspended the dates to effect the new toll fare at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport from July 17 to August 1st, 2023. According to a statement by the management of FAN in Abuja, the postponement was to allow airport users to enjoy more of the current charges, adding that the fare for cars would change from 200 to 300 naira, while buses and support utility vehicles would change from 300 to 500 naira respectively. The management urged the public to take note of the changes in the effective date and tariff, while appealing to all airport users that own vehicles to use the dedicated park and pay for car parks that had been provided for the comfort of airport users, noting that drop-off zones and drop-off zones rules and regulations guiding movement should be respected to create free traffic flow to enhance a calm and serene environment around the airports. Nigerian Insurers Association says it is planning an accident insurance cover for Nigerians in transit in partnership with the federal government. The Director General NIA, Mrs. Yetunde Ilori, who disclosed this in the association's 2022 annual report, said Nigerian Insurers Association and Global Site Services are working with the Nigeria space. In 2022, he said the volume of business written by member companies grew to about 726.2 billion naira, which was estimated to be an increase of 33.9%. Nigeria's hard rights, Israel's hard rights government says it is ready to push through parliament a key clause of its judicial reforms that have sparked mass protests and has been labeled divisive by U.S. President Joe Biden. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was back after undergoing surgery to have a pacemaker installed as police outside the legislature used water cannon against the crowd of demonstrators. President Isaac Herzog, who has been trying to broker a compromise after half a year of weekly mass street protests, warned that we are in a national emergency, said, while criticised in an attack claimed by the Al-Shabaab militant group. A military campaign launched by government forces and allied militia men in 2022 has forced the Al-Qaeda linked group from the large swaths of territory in southern Somalia, but the militants have continued to stage deadly raids. In recent weeks, with the military campaign against them stalled at the army chief, as the army chief prepared a second phase of the offensive, Al-Shabaab 73 soldiers and wounded 124 others going, but Arafah said the operation had now been declared finished and closed. The spokesman said the passengers had previously been recorded as missing because they had rescued themselves, and once they got on land, they went home. Russia has accused Ukraine of being behind a drone attack that damaged at least 2 buildings in the capital, Moscow. The Russian Defense Ministry said 2 drones were suppressed and crashed, adding that there were no casualties. Ukrainian officials are yet to comment, but they rarely claim responsibility for attacks inside Russia. In a separate development, Russia installed officials who ordered people to evacuate one district of Crimea, the Ukrainian southern peninsula annexed by Moscow of the 21st century. Putin stated that Russia attaches great importance to the summit, with expectations of adopting a comprehensive declaration, a number of joint statements, and approval of the extension of the Russia-Africa Partnership Forum, which father announced the arrival of his son via his Twitter handle